Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm VelvettB, and thanks for joining me today for this base game, A Cabin in the Woods speed build. So we are going full base game here, base game only. Well, I say base game only. Oh, also the holidays pack. I believe everyone just kind of counts that as base game, right? I don't know why it's kind of separate, but it is separate. But it is included in this build. But it's base game only. It's all free, so I figure, it counts as base game. So, the challenge with this build, I mean, aside from the fact that it is base game only, which is a challenge in itself. I mean, you're going to try and make a base game only house look good. That is a challenge. But the other part of the challenge is also trying to make it look like a cabin, because I wanted to build a cabin with base game only, and let's face it, you don't really have the swatches or the build by items to really capture a cabin vibe. So, that is quite a large challenge, trying to actually come up with items that are a little cabin-y. I don't know what it was about cabin. Just at that time of the year where you see a lot of people are building those cozy log cabins, and there's snow falling down, and it's just so cozy and lovely. It's not my experience with this time of year. Obviously, I live in the southern hemisphere, and it is summer here. So, the cozy log cabin thing isn't something I really associate with Christmas, but I know that a lot of people do, and I've been seeing them around everywhere, and I'm just kind of like, oh, I kind of feel like building one. But I thought, you know what, let's twist it up a little bit and try and do it with base game only. So, way to make it way harder on myself. But I'm doing the best that I can, and I think it ended up looking really cool. So, part of this was actually thinking about the landscaping aesthetic for the build and how that was kind of going to work. So I was thinking something in the forest. Now, because this is a base game only build, I do like to build it in one of the base game worlds, which is Newcrest, Oasis Springs, or Willow Creek. So, it's not really the most foresty kind of looking, those aren't the most foresty looking worlds. They're very pretty, but not the most foresty looking. So I did the best that I could as far as the world backdrop goes, but I did want to make it look like this was a house and it was sitting in the middle of the forest, and it's really isolated and really peaceful and relaxing is kind of the idea behind it. So you sort of see me kind of do the best that I can as far as bringing in some of the base game trees. So I was thinking about pine trees, because that's kind of where you're thinking, like your evergreen pine trees in the forest is, that cabin in the wood kind of vibe going on there. So I've done like a stone bottom to the house, so just kind of split it between two. Now, I don't often do this, where I'll have like one colour on the bottom level and then a second colour on the top level, or second wallpaper on the top level. I more often will mix and match the wallpapers on both levels, if that makes sense. So having that kind of split was a little different for me. Oh, I struggled with these windows as well. But yeah, having that split with the stone on the bottom and then the wood on the top was actually, I thought that was quite cool. And as I said, just something a little different for me that I don't do all that often. And I just changing the stone on the chimney going up the side, because I wanted to have a different stone on the chimney. So that's kind of what I was doing there. I was playing around with those windows for so long. I just couldn't make them work. But it got there in the end. I was trying to do like the curved one with like some windows up the side, and it was just looking stupid. So I switched that up and just went with a square one and used little touches of the rounded top ones along the way. I mean, I needed to have like a wood exterior on the window panes rather than metal, because I felt like that worked better. So the kind of the mega window frames I felt like worked better for this build than some of the other options that we had. They're kind of still a little bit modernish, but it's nothing really I could do much about that. I just, did the best I could with the stuff that I had. So you can sort of see my pine trees starting to dot around. And, I feel like once I got the trees down, you're really starting to get the vibe of the build and what I was kind of thinking there. And I was just thinking, kind of little overgrown sections with like some of the bushes, and I'll add like little bits of grasses in as well. You sort of see the grass coming in there. So, it's a little bit overgrown and just like, kind of foresty. And that's the vibe I was going for. I thought that would be super cute. And I feel like, it looked nice in the end. I was just getting in some reeds around the water because we've got like a little stream running through along the side. And I think, it ended up looking quite cute with all the landscaping in there. It just really sort of started to bring that cabin-y vibe together because it just, without the forest around it, I just sort of felt like it kind of just looked like a house, with a bit of a rustic feel to it. But as soon as you get that landscaping in there, it just brings it all together, which is cool. And I am digging around in debug, so if you're wondering, yes, I am in debug. Because let's face it, that's where all the best plants are in the game. And yeah, I mean, if I'm going to be doing a base game build, chances are that I will be going into debug to get the landscaping done because, that's the best part. I do end up deleting a lot of the roof plants because they kind of hung down a little bit into the house, and it's like, nah, I'm not having that. So they did get deleted, some of them. Oh, and then I created like this really creative log pile, but then of course when I lifted up the foundation of the house, the log pile went up with the foundation and it kind of looked stupid. So I had to change that, and I did actually end up making a different style log pile. But those little mega hunt things are actually really cool for creating like a little wood pile, just by the way. I thought that was a neat idea, but it just didn't end up working out that I could use that particular item to create that wood pile because it lifted up with the foundation. I wanted to get all the landscaping down before I lifted up the house because that meant that I could get close to the foundation of the house without any issues. So this is me getting the foundation up, and it just meant that, yeah, I didn't have to have the bumping up issue along the way when I was landscaping. So it just saved me that little problem and got it all up, and then I realized, oh no, my cute little wood pile. Oh, it's it's up weirdly up against the wall with nothing underneath it. I was just trying to find something cute to go along here. I did get there in the end, but I was just like flicking through. This is me realizing, oh, my wood pile. It's kind of disappointing because I really liked that idea. I thought it was a cute idea, but I did want to have stairs and have like a little bit of a raised balcony or deck area, so it had to go. It is what it is. But I did find an alternative. So there was this debug wood that is in base game, and you can actually create like quite a cool little wood pile with that. So I was like, you know what? Let's use that instead. And boom, done. We have a cute little wood pile. So I still got my wood pile, but it was just not with the mega hunk item. Which is something that I do like to try and find a use for now and then, because it's just like this item that's sitting there in base game. I'm just like, what do I do with this? But it's actually quite interesting doing quite a lot of shell challenges and or hosting a lot of shell challenges and doing tours. And I've actually seen some really creative uses for that, as well as like the frame one. So the mega frame, and I've just found seen some really creative uses for them, and I'm just like, oh, that's what you do with those, you know? It's quite fun. It's like, oh, working out what to do with these things by seeing what everyone else is doing, with them, which is quite neat. And for the interior, I decided to actually stick with the stone. I thought, that sort of, I felt like that would work better than the wood on the inside. It just kind of had a little bit more of a rustic feel because the clapboard didn't really have a super rustic feel to it. I mean, it is just a clapboard, but it didn't have that sort of like rough kind of look that you get with some of the other clapboards, like your outdoor retreat one or the horse ranch one. So I felt like the stone would look better on the interior, and by contrasting that with a wood or a wooden look to the furniture, I feel like you've sort of got the wood going on the inside, and I feel like the flooring that I chose actually has a really rustic look to it. So, you know, I think pulling in the wood in the sense that it's in the furnishings and the flooring, and then using the stone on the wall actually brings in, you know, just that more of that rustic feel, and I thought that worked really nicely. So at the moment, what I'm just trying to do is add clutter to these shelves, which seems like a convoluted way to go about it, but it was the best way to go about it as well, because it just getting it at the right height that I wanted, just sliding it across using the Basegame towel racks there. So just getting my clutter on here, getting the clutter up onto the top of the lovely fridge that I chose. So I use the Vault modular counters, and then the slightly more rustic looking oven and fridge, so all in that lovely dark brown, and I think that worked really nicely. While it is a small kitchen, like there's not a heap of a lot of counter space, there was enough for me to actually, you know, get some clutter down, so I was happy with that. And of course, you know, when it comes to clutter, it is a little bit limited when it comes to Basegame, but you do what you do. It's actually, I got through a good chunk of this build before I remembered about the fact that I could use the holiday stuff as well. So I'll get through, I think about, I don't know, 75% of the way through the build, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I can use the holiday stuff. And the reason that sort of clicked in my brain was because I wanted to do like some lighting, and the holiday pack has that droopy kind of lighting option, and that's kind of what pinged my brain to remembering the fact that I could use the holiday pack as well, because up to this point I had not remembered about the fact that, you know, the holiday pack is part of Basegame as well. But I didn't end up using, I think, that much from the holiday stuff, just a few little bits and pieces, but this is just me kind of at some point remembering and just getting my clutter on. I think I ended up, you know, getting a decent kind of amount of clutter here, a little bit of a lived-in vibe, and that's what clutter does. It just gives you this lived-in vibe to your home, and just makes it look like, you know, it is occupied. People do live there. So that's what clutter brings to it. And, you know, while there are limitations as far as, you know, what you have available to you with Basegame, there is clutter there, and, you know, you can sort of use it in creative ways, just so it's not always looking the same with each and every build. So you can sort of see the house coming together here. On the top level is where we're going to have all of the bedrooms. So we've got all the living sort of stuff on the bottom level, and then going upstairs we have the bathrooms and the bedrooms. So there is another second little TV area in the bedroom upstairs too. So I've used from the Cozy Celebrations pack, oh, sorry, not Cozy Celebrations pack, the Cozy Celebrations event. You got the festive TV, which is really awesome. I love that TV. I think it's super cute, and I love the fact that it can, you know, it's obviously got a print on it, so, you know, it kind of doubles as a picture as well as being a TV when it's, you know, so it's functional as well as pretty, which I think is cool. And you got quite a few different swatches with it, which I thought was nice. Anyway, so in the bedroom upstairs, you've got the festive TV, and then downstairs as well, there's also the TV in the living room area. So this is the first of the bathrooms. So this is the larger of the two bathrooms. I believe this is 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom. Oh gosh, I'm guessing again. It'll be at the start. You guys will know, and I don't know yet because I haven't added it in. But yeah, this is the larger bathroom. I wanted to sort of think of this more as the adult bathroom. So, you know, a romantic kind of relaxing zone is kind of the vibe I was going for. And this is more sort of like your kids' kind of bathroom. Or half bath, really. I guess the kids will have to use the bath in the other bathroom, won't they? Oh well. As they do. But that's like a little half bath just off the side. Little ensuite, you know? Little ensuite. I'm just using the circle rug there as a... you know how... Oh, well, you might not, but in the bathroom clutter kit, there is like a little toilet mat that sort of curves around the toilet, and that's kind of the idea of what I was going for with that circle mat, is just to give the illusion of having that curved toilet, you know how like you get those toilet mats and they kind of curve around the base of the toilet? That's kind of the effect I was kind of going for with those rugs. This is me realizing that I had the holiday pack available to me. So I'm adding a few bits and pieces around the place using that holiday pack. As I said, about 75% away through the build, I'm realizing that I can use this pack. Oh dear, Velvet. But it was because I wanted to use those lights, and then I don't think I ended up using those lights because I didn't like how they looked. So after all that, I didn't even use the lights, but I did use a few other bits and pieces. I'm an interesting person sometimes. Anyway, so this is the master bedroom. So just sticking with the brown shades, you know, keeping it really cozy and rustic as I can. And this is me just realizing that I had a matching chair to the lounge suite that I used downstairs, and adding in some lights as well. So I did want to add in a dresser to this room. So, you know, there isn't a whole lot of clutter, but there is actually in Debug, there is some cosmetic clutter that you can use. Like that little cosmetic case, and there's like a little bottle, and there's a few bits and pieces in the Debug that is actually quite good for cluttering up your bedroom, just for something a little different. And I don't know why we don't have more of those little cosmetics in the game that aren't Debug. You know, we should have them, and I would absolutely love them. It would have been perfect with the bathroom clutter kit to have like this just little set of cosmetics in the game. Oh, it would have been so good. Just any pack to have those cosmetics in the game would just be wonderful. Anyway, here we are going on to the kids' room. I did fluff around with the bed and then the curtains and then the colour and what I wanted from this room. But I got there in the end. I thought because I wanted to keep it sort of still in that sort of rustic cabin-y kind of vibe. So I didn't want to make it like too modern looking, if that makes sense, for the bedroom. But, you know, still wanted to make it look like... I actually was thinking more of a masculine bedroom here, so that's kind of what I went with, the blues and the browns. And I felt like that worked really nicely with the rest of the house as well. So, yeah, I went with a bit of blue and brown and used the check swatch on the bed, and I thought that was super cute. And there is obviously the little drawing table, which is, you know, good for the creativity and the imagination, and a nice bookshelf there. So I think plenty of activities in that room for the kids, or kids singular, because I don't think you're going to be fitting 2 kids in there. And then I'm just working on this last bit of space here. The fence kind of went through the window, so I skipped the fence over in that area, but did add like a little study nook upstairs just for an extra computer, or a computer. So there was one in the build. That is our build all wrapped up. Thank you so much for watching. I'll leave you guys to check out the screenshots. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.